Hello, everybody, and welcome to the RV Positive Podcast, where we're putting positivity in motion, not only in the RV industry, but in life in general. My name is Tony Frerking. I'm co-founder of Referral Auto Group, along with my wife, Christy, and I'm joined here today with Jayson Sullins of Heartland RV. In an industry surrounded by so much negativity and the stigma that manufacturers and dealers as a whole don't care, we're going to try and show you the real honest truth as to what goes on behind the scenes. And Jayson with Heartland is going to help us in showing you that manufacturers and dealers really do care. They recognize the issues in the industry, and working as a partner, we challenge these together and we're bringing you a better product. So Jayson, thanks for being here today with us. Tell us what your role is with Heartland RVs and how you got started in the RV industry.
Certainly. So they call me a regional manager. So I cover Texas and all the western states west of the Rockies for a couple of brands. One, Tril travel trailers, which we'll probably talk about a little bit today.
Correct.
Another brand called Prowler, which is another conventional travel trailer.
Okay.
And then also Bighorn fifth wheels, luxury fifth wheels. Got into the industry in 2003. Started on the retail side and did about 10 years on that retail side.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So Jayson, we've worked together for many years through different products, and you spend a lot of time on the road away from your family. Tell us how that is, and not most reps will. You know, they don't go out, they don't spend time with their dealer body and really support them. Tell us why you do that and what you accomplish by doing that.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the harder parts of the job. But in order to effectively partner up with our dealers and in lack of better terms, have my boots on the ground, seeing what's going on in regards to what kind of retail response are we getting on our products, what kind of quality control issues are we having that we need to take care of. I really want to try to get with my dealer partner, certainly do product training with the sales staff,
right?
Help the dealer principal understand what we're doing right now, what our future plans are, talk about problem resolution. Certainly get with the service centers at the dealership, making sure that I'm touching every point of contact there, that if they're running into service issues, something that needs to be responded to quicker or something that's stuck for whatever reason.
So just a constant evolution from the client and their perception of your product. So you're always trying to improve, and the feedback from the dealer body and the client base is what you're looking to accomplish.
That's the goal. That's the goal. We want to, at some point, we'd like to be the easiest to work with.
All right, fantastic. So if you don't mind, Jayson, I've prepared some questions just to give the public and everybody else some feedback on your role, your knowledge, and how dealers can really depend on you to make the product better and deliver a better end product. Right. So I've prepared some questions I'd like to ask you if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's going to catch you a little off guard, so we'll just kind of wing it. This is a one take. So
Okay.
Can you walk us through the RV manufacturing process from design to the final product? What are the key steps involved?
Okay, well, so it's a little bit of an extensive answer. It's going to start in departments that I have input on but aren't directly involved with. So
Sure.
We certainly have an engineering department that's going to team up with our product management group, who are visiting with vendors oftentimes to see what types of components and features that are available. There's a lot of what we're trying to do is to achieve a price bucket that we want to build a unit to market to the general public.
But probably still with a perfect marriage between a good product and a
Certainly.
cost-effective product.
Yeah, good product, cost-effective product, well-equipped, well-designed, of course, and well-featured.
Right. All right, Jayson, so here's one. What's something surprising about the manufacturing process that the general public probably wouldn't know?
I think that would probably be that it's a big collaboration process between us and our vendors when we're designing units. I would say that on the OEM side that we're more assembly than you would expect than actual production and building it from scratch.
So you guys have a pretty tough job of bringing a great product, multiple great products together to create your product to deliver to the end consumer.
Certainly, yeah. So there's a lot of vendors that we're working with on a consistent basis. We're constantly trying to find the best products available through those vendors, try to get the best pricing, how to best collaborate with those vendors so that the things that they're building for us work in the systems that we're
Sure.
working through.
And probably trying to stay consistent with your product in supply chains has got to be a tough thing to accomplish as well. Making sure that you guys start with a certain type of vendor for a certain product and be able to continue that for some time to be consistent.
Yeah, and a really good example of when that became a major issue would have been during COVID when our supply chains completely were disrupted.
No, the world as a whole. The world as a whole. Mm-hmm. Great. So with all of those different products, how does Heartland RV decide which floor plans to bring to market?
Well, I mean, realistically, we need to start with a core set of floor plans that we know are tried and true.
Sure.
Right? So you're going to have different variations of your standard rear living, your standard bunkhouse, your standard rear bath, right? And then we start to work on what philosophies do we want to implement in regards to what we're getting from consumer feedback, right? What are we seeing trending throughout the market? For instance, a big one has been TV placement recently. Yeah. So now we're trying to look at ways that we can give 90-degree shots at the TV from your primary seating area in some floor plans where it requires going untraditional in the TV placement.
So the days in the rear living when you're looking completely over the kitchen up to the staircase to see the TV, you guys are trying to get away from that and correct that issue.
Yeah, those days seem to be dead.
Right.
The TV placement now is more important than we've ever seen it.
So how risky is it to come up with something completely unique and a totally new floor plan?
Yeah, it is risky, and we've worked on several that have done really, really well. For instance, we have a really nice front living room in the North Tril line that was something that we'd seen in fifth wheels, and we were trying to figure out a way to bring it down into the conventional travel trailer segment that wouldn't be too long, too big, too heavy. I think we did a really good job on it, but it did take some compromise. And there's still some things on that particular floor plan that we'd like to tweak. We'd like to see if we can make the bathroom a little more usable. But we've also had some big flops that just didn't work.
So I'm one that likes the unique or weird RVs. I want someone to walk into my RV and say, this is weird.
Right.
But as a manufacturing standpoint, if that's only selling 2 or 3 of those into the end consumer, then that can be risky or even considered a flop.
We need to really consider the masses in order for us on the mass production side of things, right? So we're not a small independent manufacturer. We're a volume-based manufacturer. We certainly like to keep a boutique feel, and we want to keep that small feel, but the truth of the matter is we do have to cater to the masses, and we have to consider regional trends as well. For instance, I spend a lot of time west of the Rockies where we do a lot of state park camping, whereas east of the Rockies, so when we're dealing with state parks, we have size restrictions, right? We can't necessarily go a whole lot bigger than 30 feet in many cases. When we get west of the Rockies, we see a lot of dry camping happening as well. So that may make us reconsider what components we're putting on. For instance, solar becomes incredibly important.
So demographics. So do you guys produce a different line that will cater to the East Coast that the West Coast doesn't see or technically can't get? Do you guys make the RVs per area?
Well, we've done that, and we are trying to standardize as best we can to where we're able to service the entire nation as best we can. But there's going to be some floor plans that we put, let's say, in Texas, where broadly it's flat and bigger trucks and bigger campgrounds.
Sure.
So oftentimes we're bringing a lot of our big units to that region, whereas west of the Rockies, we're going to be selling a lot of our mid-size and smaller units.
So based on needs, do you see a lot of people living in these days? Do you turn into them for housing?
Yeah, we're seeing it as a housing solution quite a bit as well. And so that's also kind of changed even out west, where ordinarily you wouldn't necessarily sell a large conventional travel trailer, bumper pull. We're seeing people that are using them for housing solutions. And
we're seeing that more and more too. So what do you think some technological advances that Heartland's looking at to kind of cater to that type of RV use?
More residential appliances primarily.
So that's where we're moving away from that absorption refrigerator that might work off of the propane side and also an electric side, and moving straight into a 12 volt that works more of the premise of a residential refrigerator.
Yep.
Okay, so Jayson, what are some of the biggest changes you see Heartland doing that excites you the most, being that you're representing their product to your dealer body and from there, the end consumer?
Sure. I would have to say some of the new processes that we're putting into place in order to make quality a heavier emphasis. We've literally readjusted our entire production process and our QC process to marry up to where there is more direct oversight from less people.
Right.
Better accountability from each individual workstation,
Right.
whether it be from plumbing to electrical to cabinetry. We for a long time we used a offsite PDI center. We spent a big money on that, and we invested heavily into it. But the problem that we ran into with the offsite PDI center was there was a lack of accountability when the unit went to the PDI center. If there was something wrong, it got repaired there. It didn't come back to the actual workstation where the problem originated. And so what we would find is that the problem would repeat itself. Now we've actually taken that step back out of the process, and now we're actually doing our QC checks on the line. And that way we can keep each station and team accountable for what's happening.
Well, and that in itself is a pretty bold statement for Heartland to make, this saying that we're going to send this out to a third party, let them look at our product and tell us how we're doing, and also check it over. And an extra set of eyes, say, that may not be biased, because as you know, in an industry right now that, or has been, where people are kind of tainted thinking that, the manufacturers are pushing out very quick and not well-built products. So now you guys have taken that back in-house and are able to conquer that, because I know as a dealer accepting your product, I've seen huge improvements lately.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're seeing that. Yes, you're right. It was a big deal for us to adjust that, because there was a lot of investment into the offsite PDI center that we had to walk away from, at least for the time being, in order to get back to grassroots and watching each coach.
Well, not only that, but you spoke about cost effectiveness.
Right.
So, putting that extra cost in there, it's got to go somewhere.
That's right.
So trying to keep these coaches affordable, but, learning maybe what they were seeing and how they were doing it, you guys bringing that back to the plant, but now you're cutting that cost out too.
Right. Yes. And efficiencies are key. Absolutely.
I agree. All right, Jayson. So how does Heartland balance creating large, luxurious fifth wheels and travel trailers when there's a growing demand for the smaller, more affordable ones?
Yeah, Tony, it's been a challenge, especially with market shifting that's taken place since COVID and inflationary issues and economic issues, rate hikes, the things that we've dealt with over the last couple of years. And the truth of the matter is we had to kind of phase out a little bit in regards to some of our luxury brands. We've reduced brands. We've also shelved some major brands for a significant amount of time. Matter of fact, we're just now, after a year of no production on Bighorn fifth wheels, which is one of our flagships. Sure. We shelved it because the market was pretty soft, and there was a lot of aging going on that inventory. But what was good about that is it gave us time to go back to the drawing board and retool a lot of things that needed to be retooled with Bighorn. We're super excited about the launch of that new brand. But on the other side of that coin, the last year and a half, 2 years, we've been really, really focused in expanding our entry-level segments. We've got a lot broader offering in the real entry level. It's the single axle segment and entry price point stuff. We've also expanded a lot of our mid-tier segments in order to get into some lower price points. We've done some things that will allow us to reduce price points but not compromise quality. Some of it's going to be components though.
Sure.
And that's the only way that you're going to get
there. And Bighorn is a household name. I mean, that's a gutsy move by Heartland, but a needed move, because it goes back to that rule of doing business how you did it yesterday. Today could mean going out of business.
That's
so
right. That's right.
It's that constant weave and tweaking and twisting and seeing what's out there that's needed.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, it's good and refreshing to be able to be part of that company. with that kind of vision. It's got to be.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, because realistically, it's been a lot of transition over the last couple of years, but I'm real excited with how things are panning out. I mean, how awesome is it that the Bighorn releases on its 20th anniversary?
Well, yeah.
I don't know that was planned by any means. I don't think
Right.
anybody intended for that to happen, but we're getting to relaunch it on its 20th anniversary, which is a really big deal. So we're doing a 20th year anniversary model on
Sure.
the Bighorn fifth wheel. Same. It was kind of similar with Prowler with a complete revamp where we've expanded our metal offering on its 50th year anniversary. And then, of course, Tril, we've been working and tweaking on it. I mean, the whole idea behind Tril is smart value camping with lots of features, a lot of quality features that are and safety features on that product line, as you know, because you sell the product. Right. But it's really, this time has forced us to really look within ourselves and try to be better than ever before.
Right. Thanks, Jayson. All right, Jayson, this is a question that I think a lot of people want to know. I know I want to know, but what are some of the biggest challenges you're faced with today when it comes to building RVs?
Yeah, Tony, I think it's chasing value. There's been a lot of swings in economics recently, and we're trying to put a product out that will hit price points that will also offer the value that the customer is looking for.
Sure.
And so, realistically, is building the coach the way that the consumer needs it to be built, but also within the economic constraints that they can achieve.
I think I'm following what you're saying. So you're trying to build something because the value in the coach is what's permanent to them,
right?
Regardless of what the economic market might be doing. You touched on that for a second. So were you referring to like interest rates, cost of money of buying that coach?
Yes. Yeah. So as rates spiked, people's budgets on their monthly payment budgets didn't adjust, right?
Sure.
So payments went up, costs us the same amount of money to put those components in, but now the prices are going up. So now we're having to decide, well, if we need to achieve a lower price point so that to make up for that rate, what things do we put in or take out, and how is that going to impact the consumer's overall experience?
Yeah, and keep the quality up, which that's because after all, the coach is forever.
Right.
The cost of the money to buy the coach could be, temporary, and they can always change that.
Right. Yep. You're married to the price, not married to the rate.
Sure. So date the rate and marry the payoff.
That's right.
Got it. Yeah. So Jayson, we touched on what Heartland RV does to make sure that they do their quality control and deliver a great end product to the dealer, in turn then to the consumer. So what is Heartland doing to make that a priority? After all, there's so much negativity. That's the birth of this podcast. Right. We're not trying to just bring the good, but a lot of people focus so much on the negative aspect of owning an RV and what goes wrong with the RV. And I think most of the time, as we know, bad news spreads fast. Right. We also know that it's juicy, it's sexy, it sells better, gets you views. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the influencers want that. What we're trying to do, and what I appreciate you coming to help us out with this vision, is that we're not only trying to bring the good, we're not trying to focus on the bad, we're trying to keep it practical, bring the practicality of owning an RV and what to expect. So what is Heartland doing to make that a priority?
Well, I mean, like we talked about it before, I mean, obviously a lot of changes on the actual steps for QC on the line. Certainly quality control after the finished product comes off the line.
Sure.
All the way down, Tony, to literally members of our sales staff going and walking each and every unit. Members of sales staff that are going to be talking to you as our dealer partner before the unit gets there. Hey, we've walked this, whether it was myself or a coordinator or one of the other reps that's back at the factory while I'm on the road, something of that sort. So, I mean, this is getting really grassroots on this side. So,
well, and your mission today for coming here was to give our sales guy a huge understanding of the nuts and bolts and bones of it, because that's what's important. I just hijacked you and snagged you and brought you up here. Yeah. So, that's what's important. Now, go into a little bit about after the consumer buys this RV. I know as a dealer, we have to go through and find these codes. Explain that to us.
Yeah, so, on the service side, when you guys have an issue, of course, we have our code books. I don't see a ton of this because I'm on the sales side.
Sure.
However, I hear about it regularly, and I'm oftentimes an advocate.
Well, and you're always supporting
I'm the bridge
us.
group. Yeah, I'm the bridge. I'm the liaison in order to try to help get these problem solved. But we do keep track of common issues.
Sure.
That way, let's say we're dealing with a specific component, maybe one of the appliances that we're having a regular issue with, then we need to address that with our supplier. Right. And is it something that we're doing wrong on the install? Is it something that's faulty in the component itself? And should we be continuing to go ahead with that particular supplier?
Right.
Also, we're trying to become more transparent. You know about our Heartland owners app, which is going to allow the customer to actually track warranty claims and status of the claim.
Right.
They're able to track parts orders. Right, so they're allowed. I mean, some dealer
That's
partners.
an industry first.
It really is. A lot of dealer partners kind of go, oh, so they're going to call in a service and they're going to know the status of that part or that warranty claim.
Sure.
And if it says unfiled, right, there has not been a claim filed, then and their rig has been in service for a week, and they're showing that status. I mean, this is something that we're trying to provide transparency so that. I mean, realistically, so our dealer partner has some accountability and some skin in the game.
Yeah, because a lot of times you guys fall under the bus as the person that drops the ball. So, that's a bold move, but I think a very needed move and very beneficial move to our consumer to show that, hey, we all care. And, if the dealer is dropping the ball and not supporting their client and it's just a customer to them, that's an issue too. So these codes, if you guys keep seeing them over and over again, what do you see happen if the code is the code of a water heater issue, and you keep having issues with this water heater, what's Heartland's take on that? Not always, but just saying.
Certainly. I mean, from what I understand when I talk to my service team, they relay this to production, who has to relay this also to purchasing, right? So we've got multiple departments that all have to communicate and take a look. Okay, so we're buying this water heater, for instance. We buy it in bulk, and we're going to be able to get our volume discount based off of that. But is it costing us more than our discount because of the failure rate and costing us more in warranty, right?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, what's bigger than that, and cost obviously is a part of this whole thing, but we've got to keep our customers camping. We don't want to be a part of the RV ruined vacation moniker. That's not something that we want to. I'm a camper myself. I have family. I want to vacation. I understand exactly all of us at Heartland, and I would venture to say every other OEM that's out there, I hope, is considering the end user as we're trying to achieve this big endeavor. But it is complicated. It's a big beast.
Yeah, and it lies in the responsibility and the delivery of everybody involved. There's a chain involved, and when there's a break in the chain, the person that's not readily available to consumer usually gets the blame.
That's right.
So the transparency to see, and that's huge. That's huge for a consumer to be able to go online and make sure that their dealer has submitted that claim, because they could say that they did, and oops, we didn't, and now we're going to, and that just cost them a month in their warranty period.
Certainly, yeah. We can see that the part has been shipped, and I don't know if we can. I don't think we can actually see when it arrives, but we know that at least it's been shipped and that the dealer should be anticipating its arrival. So that's a pretty big deal for the end user to be able to do. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. All right, Jayson. So we've covered a lot of ground. One thing I think is obvious, and there's a lot of skeptics out there, and a lot of people putting out their opinion. But where do you see the RV industry in the next 5 to 10 years? Is our clientele base shrinking, growing? Are we keeping up with the demands of what people expect, the modernized features? What's your take, next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's a durable industry, Tony. It's been around a long time, right? I mean, we're talking nearly 100 years at this point.
Sure.
Right? And it's been a good industry. I haven't missed a meal. So it's where I see it in the next 5 years. I'm excited about the next 5 years. We had a major influx into the industry during COVID. A lot of folks that hadn't considered buying an RV. A lot of folks at younger age groups that hadn't given consideration to it, and now have entered the space, and a lot of them are staying here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we're seeing young influencers doing their van life videos and podcasts, and we're seeing a lot of different applications. We're seeing folks using them as living solutions.
Sure.
We're seeing a lot of different things, and we've gotten a great American roadway and vehicles now that tow more than ever before, smaller vehicles. So I see growth in the industry. What I think.
Well, in the past, I mean, a lot of people thought it was for somebody that was retired,
Right.
50, 60 years old.
Yeah.
But I know as a dealer here in California that we're seeing people early, mid-20s already getting into it. But there's so much variety. There's off-road Jeep trailers that caters to a lot younger crowd. There's so many different varieties of RVing now, not just your canned ham.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that speaks for the industry changing.
Yeah, and I think it speaks towards American culture. We want to get back outside again, I think.
Sure.
Right? And this is going to give us that opportunity to do so. In regards to the products themselves, what I think that we're going to see is, we're still going to see innovation in floor plans. That's always going to happen. Everybody's going to try to stay ahead of each other to give you the new wow feature. And there's some stuff that I've seen recently that I think is cool, but where I'm really excited are things that are making camping smarter. Okay, so for instance, for years, every time you took a trade in, it felt like the customer was telling you, hey, we never used the oven.
Right.
And listen, that oven hasn't ever been used because frankly, they're small. Right, can't even let your biscuits rise.
Sure.
And so that being the case, and that's a high dollar component that we have to put in, we put into these.
Keeps the cost up.
And it keeps the cost up. It's heavy as well. And so, like for instance, with the Tril, we put the air fryer in and got rid of that burner. Right, people love air frying to reheat even,
and also caters to the healthy lifestyle everyone's embarking on.
Exactly. So people are excited about that. We're seeing things like convection / air fry / microwave ovens included. And then when you get rid of that oven, in that case, now you're getting a new pots and pan store. We're seeing better storage solutions being offered. We're seeing more different furniture, like our Freedom Lounge that we have right outside. And I think we might do a video on the 27 DBH that's outside with the hidden table that also offers up the trifold sofa area, right? So I think that we're going to see smarter living solutions and more efficient features on the units. So we've already started getting into solar and 12-volt refrigerators. We're prepping these things for tire pressure monitoring systems.
So so I think what you're saying, as long as we keep up with the desires of the potential client that's going to want these and embark on this lifestyle, we're going to keep them desirable.
Yes, yeah, we need to keep them safe, and we need to keep them well featured.
Sure.
We need to keep them. Keep the quality up. And I think that we're on our way, and I think our vendors are working with us. I think they've recognized it, and that we all have to do a better job, but I think we're doing a really good job in a lot of different areas in the industry.
I do too. And hence the reason for this podcast, just trying to show two sides of the spectrum here, but also keep it practical.
Right.
So that's good. All right, Jayson, so I got one more question before we go out and we check out your product, because it's an exciting product, so stick with us. We're just about done. We're going to go out and actually have Jayson take us around a Tril, which is a phenomenal product. I chose to carry it here, not only because of the product itself, but because of the partnership that we have with Heartland RVs. But tell me something. What advice would you give somebody looking for their first RV, and can this advice carry over to the repeat offender too?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Tony, since I've gotten into the wholesale side of things and left the retail side of things, I still get calls all the time. And I face that very question.
Sure.
I think that it's just as or more important to shop the dealership as much as you are shopping the product. Just like for us, you're my dealer partner. You are the owner's partner through that experience. And so I think it's important.
So working with somebody you can trust, somebody that you depend on, because everybody's in a good mood when you're buying the RV.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have that issue, you want that phone call, you know? So elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, yeah. So, when I guess a good litmus test for this would be if you find a product, whether it's a Heartland product or any other product, you might ask that salesperson or sales manager if they know their product rep, and do they speak to them?
Sure.
I know you and I talk all the time. I talk to your customers on a regular basis.
Well, just recently, I had somebody drive all the way from Texas to purchase the 21 RBSS.
Right.
And I called you right in front of them on speakerphone. And my question to you was, hey, they're buying it here. You know, most dealers don't like to do factory warranty repairs on something they didn't sell.
Right.
Don't know why, but that's unless you got a neighboring dealer or something that just doesn't like to work on their stuff, and you're going to be only nothing but their service center. But my question to you was, hey, can I depend on somebody out in their area in Texas? And you asked where they were, and you said, yes, personally call me, give them my phone number.
Yep.
That right there speaks volumes and also gives the client confidence right then.
Most certainly. And where I have our most successful partnerships is when I am in direct contact with my dealer partner on a regular basis, whether it be the salespeople, whether it be their service department, their sales managers. I don't get to see every unit as they arrive, and I don't get to see their condition. And so I need to know what you're seeing. Are you seeing little stuff? Are you seeing shakedown from sawdust and foam?
Right.
Okay, well, that's expected, right? We always give you a couple extra screws because we're just nice guys, right?
Sure.
You know, you got to get the extra screws. But are we seeing major issues? Are we, and we got to know what those things are. And I need to be able to pass that on to my service center, my purchasing department, my QC department, so that way we can get better. And so I would say to a new customer or a repeat offender that it's really important who you buy from. I think because they are going to represent the product for us and be our advocate. If there is something that we did wrong throughout the process, we're reliant upon your pre-delivery inspection process. We're reliant upon your service department to work with ours to get through the warranty claim process, to order parts. We're relying upon you to also provide transparency to the customer. Hey, that part's on back order. That claim we're in dispute on that claim.
Right.
And then, and as we talked about, we'll have the owner's app for the consumer to see the status of those.
So tell me, you say, are they in direct contact with the rep? And I mentioned that I called you with a client present. And I'm just going to ask you, is it a frowned upon practice for the dealer to call their rep and have the rep talk to their client? Or is that just something you personally do? Because that speaks volumes for how you do business and the support that you give your dealer body.
Sure.
But in a whole, if somebody goes in to purchase an RV and they want to talk right to the rep, is that out of the question? No,
I think that is well within the question. I think that it's important. I think that the consumer may want to consider calling the factory direct. The contact number to the office is right on our website. Yeah. You can call the factory direct and ask to speak to the product rep for the specific product you're looking at in the region that you're looking at it. It is, like I said, a good litmus test to ask the dealer if they have spoken to that rep, because then you're going to have a really good idea what that relationship is and whether or not it's going to be smooth. It may not be the end-all be-all answer to the thing, but I think that there is certainly a lot of validity to factory interaction onto the retail side. And my answer in regards to all factory reps, I think that most of them would like to have more interaction with their dealer, the service side of things, and the retail customer.
Right.
In all reality, I think that because when you're having those conversations, it's giving you a chance to get better.
Sure. And I know that I don't have that problem with any of my reps. I just didn't know because I like, here at our dealership, I like choosing a product that has the backing, that has the support. Because as a dealer, we're only as good as the support we get after, because truth be known, and to be completely transparent, the sale's always going to go flawlessly. Right. It's always going to go because they're happy. They're buying us, And I've always said, as soon as that portion of your RV and buying experience becomes unfun, when you're trying to purchase an RV and it becomes unfun, whether it be an uncomfortable situation with a sales guy, high pressure, run. Yeah. When it becomes unfun, run. This isn't a need base unless you're living in it, of course. But, you should always have fun above all else. But speaking beyond that, once the sale is complete, how important is service?
It's vital. It is absolutely vital because it isn't a question of if you're going to need to bring the unit back in. It's when. It's just like when you bought your home.
Yeah.
There's going to
or
be
your
something.
Car. Or your car is built by machines.
Yeah. It's going to happen, and we've already talked about these
Sure.
are rolling earthquakes on wheels that go through a hurricane every time they go down the road. So you want to work with a dealer that you know that service department is going to do what it takes to get you back on the road as quickly as possible and painlessly as possible.
Sure.
And Tony, I mean, you and I have known each other a long time now. We're pushing 10 years, and we've worked together a lot. And I have to
through different products.
Yeah, multiple products.
So it doesn't. That goes to say what you're. I know where you're going right now. I know where you're going, and this is unrehearsed, but it goes to say that it's not the product, it's the rep.
It is.
Because I choose. It doesn't matter what product you offer to us, and we're grateful for it. The service is always the same.
Well, it's a people industry, right? I mean, the whole reason you buy an RV, it isn't a financial investment that's going to give you returns.
Well, an RV is not an investment. If
Not
you
at
want
all.
to think of it as something, it's a mistake.
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
one that creates a lifetime of memories. If you think of, hey, it's expensive, how much has it cost you not to build those memories with your family?
That's right. Absolutely. So it's the most beautiful thing in the world when it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's our jobs to keep them on the road.
Yeah.
Right. And so, in partnering with you has been wonderful because I've watched you, even through thick and thin and some painful scenarios, right? I've watched you get these people on the road, oftentimes at your own cost.
Sure.
You know, and so I think that it's really important for anybody, going back to the original question, who is looking to buy an RV, whether it's your first time or your third time. I think that you need to shop the dealer and try to get to know who they are, and find out if they have a soul or not.
Yeah, and it's not all happiness and roses, because you and I have worked together for 10 years, but not all our conversations were very comfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
We've had some uncomfortable.
there are times that you're going to disagree, but what's good is they're worked out, they're dealt with professionally, and there's always a positive outcome and beneficial to both sides. So, Jayson, can you take us around one of your products?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
First off, I want to thank you for coming and giving me your time. Of course, I got no money to pay you, so that's not going to happen.
Sell trailer, buy trailer. We're
there.
Good.
You go. Yeah, just keep it rolling.
That's right.
You guys, how about we go out? Jayson's going to take us around a Tril, a very exciting and well-built product. That's why we carry it here, and you just heard why. So we'll see you out in the showroom. Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody, we're back. Jayson, it's nice to get some fresh air. We were up there for a little while talking about the business as a whole, but now we're down here with your product, the Tril. It's the 27 DBH, great family coach. Tell everybody that's made it this far, why Tril?
Okay. Well, Tony, what I like about Tril is smart camping. It's the entry price point to your laminate ultralight, but very well equipped, well appointed, great interior color design. But there's some great features on this coach that I like to show everybody. It's got a front cap. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to me, the front cap is actually a feature that designates a new segment. Right? We will see laminated coaches, meaning non-metal sided coaches, without front caps. That's a price point below. The front cap has some function to it, helps seal the side, allows us to do a little extra insulation in the front cap. Also handles road flack a lot better. This is a big molded fiberglass piece, but it also looks really nice. And this one has automotive paint on it, so we're not going to get fading as well. And so
tell me, is it true that when they just see a rolled pylon that comes down here, not your fully molded cap, is it true that you cannot laminate that wall when it's rolled down the front?
When you need a flat surface to laminate.
Okay.
So this is going to do a better job. What you've seen is some manufacturers, including ours, in our laminate prowlers, is now we're starting to do rolled aluminum because you want to avoid the bubbling. But there are still some guys that are doing rolled Phylon.
Bubbly meaning delamination.
Mm-hmm.
So let go of the fiberglass from the backer board coming apart.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's ungodly looking and it just looks horrible.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to last a long time. It's not going to oxidize. Like we've got our 3M graphics that got 5-year warranties on it. This stuff is really good stuff. But the automotive paint makes this cap going to keep it from discoloring over time really well. Another couple features that I like to show up here at the A-frame. Of course, we've got our power package, electric tongue jack. You're going to have electric stabilizer jacks as well. But I like to point out the vault system that's right here. This is a housing system for all of your 12-volt wiring, your mini breaker box. It gives you your battery disconnect. And Derek, if you can come over here, I'd like to show that it's got quick connects for your battery cables as well as your 7-way plug.
When you say quick connects, Jayson, they can open this up, and it's easier if it was damaged to disconnect it within there and not have to do a bunch of splicing?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So it's threaded and quick connects right in.
Wow.
And then, like I said, all of your mini breaker wires are all color coded and set up where it's easy to work on.
And I haven't seen this on anything we carry or anything that's come through our service department.
Right.
So this is something that's pretty unique to your North Tril.
It is, yes sir. So, and then as we come around over this way here, always like to show, you kind of missed it, but we have the motion sensor light inside the storage. We call this King Kong storage because it's extra wide, extra tall. It's up to 67.5 cubic feet, and it's completely unobstructed all the way. What I like about that is all your camp chairs, all your fishing gear, all of your camp tables, all the different things that you like to bring for your under the awning area.
Sure.
Oftentimes will fit here, your wheel chocks, things of that nature. This is another good place for me to kind of point out our solar that we put on this coach. We use a Sol is the brand, S-O-L, and we put a 190 watt panel on the roof, standard from the factory, and then we also prep it for a second 190 panel. So we can go up to 380 watts. This is a 30 amp charge controller, and it actually comes with a solar disconnect switch.
I saw a disconnect up front.
Yeah, that was a battery disconnect.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tony, what this does for us is if, let's say you wanted to change your battery out during daylight hours,
sure,
and the coach is outside, what you're going to be able to do is actually turn it off at the solar disconnect. So now you've cut off the power supply. Without the disconnect, you got to get up on the roof, throw a towel or a blanket over the panel.
So the solar is just as good as keeping the trailer plugged in while you're trying to change that battery.
Right.
So now we have okay.
Yeah. So you actually get a disconnect.
Awesome.
We have what we call the Prep for Everything package on North Tril. The idea there is if we didn't give you the gadget or the doodad, we prepped it for you. So if you can come over here, Derek, we actually provide a tire pressure monitoring prep right there. That's the brand is called Tire Link. What it comes with is a relay that pops in right there. So we provide the power source. You buy the relay, you buy the valve stem covers, and what they're going to do is read your pressure and your temperature on the tire. Temperature being almost as important as pressure. Would you agree?
A lot of times more important. That's going to indicate when you have an issue, a bearing, a brake assembly hanging up. Usually when it builds up heat is when it's going to go.
That's right. That's right. So, so King Kong storage. Big solar prep. We also, what I did fail to mention is right behind this panel, right here, we are prepped for a 2,000 watt inverter. So the wiring is all behind this panel, and what you'd be able to do is put a 2,000 watt inverter for low draw devices, and it's going to liven up to 8 outlets. So certainly the outlets next to the bed,
wow,
the television outlet, at least one outlet in the kitchen, one outlet in the bathroom, the GFI outlets, and then one outlet on the exterior of the coach, and they'll all be marked with a sticker.
So you said outlets by the bed. That's a CPAP user's dream.
CPAP ready. Yes,
there
sir.
You go.
Yes, sir. So as we come on down this direction, one of the things that I like to point out, obviously, this floor plan is really nice because we're able to do this outside kitchen area with the griddle and a mini fridge. But also, one of our safety devices on this coach is that we do wide tracks axle settings. What we've done is we've bought this chassis, and we've done this for a long time with North Tril, with the axle spread apart further. And what that does is it allows us, or it keeps the coach, it reduces sway, porpoising, and chucking.
Because of the larger footprint.
Because of the larger footprint. We're increasing our base right there. So it's going to reduce sway, porpoising, and chucking. You couple this with an equalizer hitch, and you're going to have the safest, most comfortable tow going down the road.
Wow. Especially since this is catering to more your half-ton towable vehicles that might be a little bit lighter than that big diesel truck.
Yep. We're trying to keep everything right around that 30 foot or less range. We're trying to keep everything 6,000 pounds or less so that we can be half-ton towable and state park friendly.
Amazing.
Now, to continue on the prep for everything, some things that I can't show you where we're standing and with the way this is set up, but we've got backup camera prep, ladder prep, also Wi-Fi prep, and slide-out topper prep.
Now, people are going to ask about ladder prep. Is that something kind of new, and why?
Yeah, so, I mean, for years, many manufacturers have mounted the ladder off the back of the coach, as we
Sure,
see.
we're all used to seeing that.
And so how many of those have you had to fix and service that are getting bent
Bumping,
up?
yeah,
Right?
Not to mention rain gutters. that they have to
Exactly, and then
fix.
it's a liability as well,
Yeah.
right? So you can't control who's climbing up your coach. So recently, Lippert came out with their on-the-go ladder system. It's actually got a higher weight rating as well, but it's a bracket that you buy the ladder separately. It telescopes. It hooks on to the ladder or the Lippert on-the-go bracket. Touches the ground. It's a 330-pound weight rating versus the 200-pound weight rating that is normally on.
Well,
mounted
same
on the
in
coach.
theory with these touching the ground
That's
versus
right.
the ones hanging in midair.
That's right. Yeah, and come to mention, I mean, this is a really good solid step system. We're going to do a real big grab handle right here. Those are things I like about this floor plan as well. And then if you look at over here, we've got a secondary entrance. And Derek, you and I were talking about this today, about how usable this particular floor plan is. What I love about this is if you're joining somebody else at their campsite and you need to go to the restroom and you don't necessarily want to go back to your camp, it's not always right next to the folks that you're visiting. Right. I don't want anybody entering my camper and seeing my mess and my kids and all the different stuff. So what I like about this floor plan is you can literally have a guest go into the bathroom, use the restroom, be shut off from the rest of the camper, and go right back out to camping under the awning.
If you're that nice.
If you're that nice.
The other point could be that the kids get messed up in the creek, they get dirty and
Exactly.
everything else. They come in here, they strip down before entering the rest
That's
of the
right.
coach.
And you're
Full linoleum.
cutting the work down
Yeah.
significantly.
For sure.
So it'd be awesome if we came inside this coach. Turn that off. So obviously we showed you the bathroom from the outside.
That's a porcelain toilet as well.
Porcelain toilet, real tub for the kiddos, real nice storage right here on your pantry, big fridge.
And the fridge, we touched on that during the when we were sitting upstairs in the podcast. But this, talk about the difference between this and what normally comes in.
Yeah, so this is a 10.7 cubic, almost 11 cubic feet versus the traditional gas electric. The biggest that we were buying was 10 or 8 cubic feet.
Right.
So you're almost getting 3 extra cubic feet of space in it. It runs off 12 volts, so it's going to run off your battery system, which is going to be helped out by your solar system. It's going to be charging anytime you're plugged in.
Well, and these pull a lot less than when people hear refrigerator, and
Yes.
then it's not that the traditional. Our parents are going to tell us never get this. It's a horrible idea because it's going to suck your batteries dry.
Right.
But the benefit probably is you probably agree, is that the ambient temperature is not going to dictate its performance.
That's
it's
right.
going to work just like our residential. We can take warm soda off a shelf, put it in here. It's going to get cold.
Yes.
Whereas with an absorption, that's kind of a kiss of death.
That's right.
Not
That's
only
right.
that, but kids kind of decide what they want to drink when the door's open.
That's right.
And that's also a kiss of death.
More efficient,
Yep.
lower failure rates, bigger, less expensive.
And safer.
And safer.
There's a lot of fires with an absorption refrigerator.
That's right. That's right. So another cool feature that I like to point out, we talked about earlier, we did the air fryer oven. We've gone to solid surface countertops, big ranch style sinks, right? And then of course on this floor plan, which is what's pretty unique, and Derek, if I can have you come over here, is our Freedom Lounge couch. We've had a ton of success in our toy hauler segment, Tony, with this big seating arrangement. People are loving it, right? But of course, what the challenge was is how do you add the extra sleeping that you want out of the couch, as well as the table, right? So let me show you how this works.
So you're telling me there's a table in this?
There's a table in this.
All right.
All right. So you just take that out, bring this over.
Okay.
All right. Just put that there. Now you're going to see that the table's hiding in there.
Okay.
I'm going to show you as a bed first because it's just a little bit easier when I'm doing the display.
Okay.
Grab it here, bring this out right here.
Oh, the leg already drops down?
Legs drop down, table drops down.
Okay.
Right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this, set this here, and then if you can give me that. And now you've got another bed.
Wow.
Right? So then if we want to set it up with the table, grab this. Flip this back up. Bring this back in.
That's quick too for getting up in the morning and you want your kids out of the way.
Exactly.
Time for breakfast.
Well, and you don't have to battle that dinette table that you don't know where to put once you've. And then you just bring this out. You will want to bring the foot peg down just a bit. Bring that out. Let it touch. And then put this back. Right there. And voila.
You know what I see here too is that a lot of times they'll give you the folding table to sit here and you come along and you bump it.
Yeah.
And the whole table will go. Whereas this at least is fastened.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it's fastened to the entire
And not worried
couch.
about somewhere where you're going to store it. So in travel, it's sitting here like a ping pong ball.
Right.
Tipping up all your cabinets.
Right. Now, another thing that we've done on Tril, and I didn't really talk about much outside, was we have the Yeti package, right?
Uh-huh.
So the Yeti package, what that is it's an indicator of the thickness of the sidewall, right? So we talked about the fact that this is a laminate unit with a fiberglass siding, but it's got a foam core insulation. It's also 5-sided aluminum, so aluminum structure in the sidewalls, the roof, the rear wall, and the back, and the front wall. But it's 2 inches thick in the sidewall as opposed to 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So that's going to give us extra insulation.
Wow.
And it's going to give us extra rigidity.
Now, most manufacturers, even though they'll say they're aluminum frame, they still have wood truss roofed, right?
Oftentimes, there's going to be wood truss, but only aluminum in.
So a lot
the
of people
sidewalls.
are surprised by that.
They are,
Yeah.
So this is 5-sided aluminum. To me, that's one of the major traits of an ultralight.
Sure.
Right, so you're reducing weight significantly that way. The other part of the Yeti package is we've actually upgraded to the Coleman Mach system, as you know, is a little better than the Furrion, the Dometic, and the Norcold system. But Derek, if you can kind of point up here into the rotator, you're going to see a couple of baffles inside of our duct system. What we've done is we've added this system called Trio Airflow, and it includes baffles that come out of the AC itself and each rotator, and it increases airflow by 25% and reduces sound by 15%.
Sure.
So we couple that with the 2-inch sidewall, the better AC system. We also have an awesome 35,000 BTU furnace, and we heat our underbellies as well. We run a 2-inch ductwork into the enclosed underbelly. So that's what encompasses the entire Yeti package.
Right. Awesome. Now, I notice, is there blinds in here? Because I don't see any screens.
Right. No. So what we're going to do is roll down shades right here. So they're complete blackout, and they're really easy to work with.
So no more silhouetting at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And your windows all open up so you can get cross drafts. You got a window over your upper bunk. One thing I would like to point out too is we're going to have a AC vent in the bathroom as well as a furnace vent. Right. A lot of people overlook that.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're going to have temperature control in the bathroom. Right.
Sure.
So that makes it a lot more comfortable as well. We're also using solid wood cabinetry doors. It's not paper wrapped, and hidden hinges. And I think our color scheme looks really, really rich.
I like this. I like more the bomber leather look because it breaks it up.
Yeah.
You know, that makes it look a little more elegant in here.
Yeah. So this is Tril.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Jayson, I thank you. Thanks for coming out,
absolutely.
making the trip
Good to
all
see
the way
you,
from
Tony.
Texas.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate you guys sticking with us.
yeah, thanks everybody, and look forward to more of these videos. We're going to keep bringing you more information. Keep it positive, not only positive, but practical. So thank you, everybody. I'm Tony again, with co-founder of Referral Auto Group with my wife, Christy. And this is Jayson Sullins with Heartland RV. If you're a dealer watching this and you want a great product and this is available in your territory, grab it. You not only get this, but you get him too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.